Hola, mi Sadaka. So, expecting a very important phone call, so I apologize if I have to pause the recording, but I may. But what I wanted to talk about today and do for y'all is or was some very powerful ways to use the Akadawa. You can also use Reiki or anything like that for this purpose if you have been initiated into Reiki. And that is the greater cultivation work that an esoteric Taoist like myself or a Taoist practitioner, well, it's so hard to define what Taoist is and what Taoism is and all of that. I never mean secular religious Taoism when I say Taoist. I mean what almost equates to early Chinese shamanism and the cultivation of energy within the body, So Qigong, Neigong, Tai Chi, even Gong Fu and stuff like that, all has to do with the internal cultivation of energy within the body. There's those, martial arts practices and things like that, which are much more young and forceful and have to do with actual combat and all of that. Balance, your sense of balance and whatnot within the body. Um, it's very important, but at the same time, that's not what I come from. I come from the internal stuff. So Nedan, which is internal alchemy, internal alchemical practice is what I'm talking about. And first of all, one of the things that's very important, I just did this in another video that I posted, is it's called the Waterwheel or the microcosmic orbit. I think it's a stupid name. I don't know. Um, and it's considered the microcosmic orbit because it's the little one. So it goes up from the coccyx, basically, inside the body in a sort of band, up the spine, up here, past shoulder blades, around the neck, to the center of the head, and assuming that you have touched the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth, um, then the energy comes down the front of the body. So it's like a water wheel. Really, it is an energy wheel down the front of the body, past the heart center, the middle dantian, and into the lower dantian, where it pools and coalesces and bubbles and collides and does all these marvelous things. And that's where you center all of your energy, right? For cultivation purposes. The dantians, boom, boom, and boom in the center, center, and center of the body. Are also called cauldrons. I love that because it really has the sense of like a witch over a cauldron and all these weird things inside bubbling and spitting and heating up. That process of bringing a potion together, a magical potion or an elixir, that's really what they were talking about. Not only that, but it's the process of heat, because as you cultivate energy within these centers, then heat happens. So it's good to think of that, the mixing of energy, because that's what it's all about. And when it comes to internal cultivation of energy. Um, so so you have to apply meditative skill, focus of your own consciousness in order to move energy anywhere inside or outside of the body. When you're doing this microcosmic orbit, essentially you will focus, focus, focus on energy down there, and then you intend and follow it up the spine and this path, this whole path, and then down, 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 and back into the lower dantian where it mixes again. Having said that, through the process of initiation or the application of a skilled practitioner or master to you and your energy system, through using something like one's personal power, intention, or the Akadua, or Reiki or something like that, you can make this path a lot clearer, and you can make it happen a lot faster, to make it a lot more powerful for other people. You can do it for yourself, of course, if you're there. But what I'm saying is, what I would like to do today is clear this path out for you using the Ikadwa. This does not mean that suddenly, oh, I had it activated by Sadhaka and now I'm fine. You know, I am not fine. I need to practice this thing way more. When you apply your personal power and your intention, your magical will, if you will, to something like this, and use something very powerful like the Ikadwa, then it just ramps it up fourfold. All you really need to do is have the skill, the meditative skill, to intend for it to happen, focus on it, and focus on building up that energy, and the entire thing will happen. You don't have to follow the path. All you have to do is know the thing and apply that will, that intention, that force of will, while you're also intending to activate a powerful energy like the Ikadwa. So that's something that becomes one thing. It sounds like a lot to do, and it is when you're just starting out. But when you've been cultivating, when you're practicing for a very long time, then you get to a point where it just goes and it all clicks, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm doing the thing, man. I'm channeling the energy, I'm doing the intention, I'm doing the breath work, I'm using that force of will, I'm calling upon my personal power, and I'm also following this channel of internal energy throughout my body. But it is just one thing, right? So yeah, that's what I want to do for you guys today, is clear that system out, that water wheel. All you have to do is focus on the lower dantian and breathe low and slow. And like always, intend to come into this personal and sacred space with me. And I'm going to use the Ikadawa, and I'm going to leave it up to the Ikadawa to be mildly spontaneous with the way that I use it. And I'm simply going to channel this energy to you as a sort of initiation to get this thing moving, right? The greater process, of course, this is not just a one-off. That'll really help you, but it's not just a one-off. The greater process is come to me and work with me personally so that we can do this a couple times a week, so that you can do regular sessions, so that I can help you develop this. And then on your own, you also have to practice by yourself. Work with it yourself, see what it feels like, get your posture right, count your breath, or maybe don't count it, but pay attention to your breath, pay attention to the way your lower dantian feels, try to get a sense of where it is, try to get a sense of where that energy really starts, in real deep inside your body. Energetically, we would probably say hara, or the second chakra, but right at the tailbone or the coccyx, really where that energy starts. Develop an internal sense of the feeling of that, develop an internal feeling of that. That's where that energy starts, and start to practice the water wheel circulation, right? Once you've got that going, part of the greater cultivation practice that I do with and without the Ikadwa, and again, you don't need the Ikadwa for this, it's just an extra boost, is to pull in chi using the Ikadawa, or not, but I like to use it. Pulling in chi from the Earth Mother, pulling in chi from the Sky Father, and pulling in chi from the greater collective heart of humanity, okay? I will say a few things about that. The only way I characterize them is because those are pretty much the only deified forms that I work with, thought forms, whatever you want, I don't look at the Earth Mother as a being Gaia. I don't look at the Sky Father as a being whatever, Cosmosia or something. Um, Cosmosio, yeah, I like it. I look at them as forces, Cosmos or Sky Father to me is everything out there in the cosmos. The Chinese or the Taoists would say the heavens, at least that's how we translate it usually. I just like to use the term cosmos or sky, just up there. And then down there is that complete yin force. This is complete yang. This is complete yin. And these are energies, yin, yang, and the energy between the two of them, which is the energy in which humans reside, right? We are in the middle world. So that's the energy that we have to work with. The other ones, the lesser ones, essentially, are the sun, which is yang, but that's here in our grasp. So we work with the energy of the sun as well. And yin, the moon, which is here in our not grasp, you know what I mean? It's there, it's tangible, sort of, you know, it exists. There we go. And so we work with the energy of the moon and we cultivate energy with or without the Akandawa or Reiki or what the hell ever, and circulate those energies throughout our body. So I'm going to go ahead and start to channel with my force of intention, will, and all of that good stuff to clear out the water wheel within us. You're going to start it from the coccyx. All you have to do is just smile, intend to allow this energy to come into you, intend to come into the sacred space with me, and intend that it starts circulating, and just pay attention. And breathe low and slow. Okay, gonna turn up the music now. Might still get a phone call. So good times. That was the shortest song I've ever heard. Okay, so a couple other things that I should mention. Doing anything like this, breathing low and slow. When you close down, put your hands over each other in front of the belly, or do the diamond mudra for a little while. Concentrate on the lower dantian and allow the energy to pool. And I like to end it with this. So basically, grab your thumb with one other hand, and you end up with this like yin yang symbol that really very solid. I always start with this, my little mudra sequence, this, then I do the diamond, which allows the energy and the energy centers to flow a little more depending on which one you're focusing on. Usually it's the lower dantian. And then you can move to something like this, which really expands the energy around to the skin and outside the body. And then this one is the Yang mudra, which allows energy to build up very strongly, but also when you have the fingers separate or disconnected, it allows energy to flow a little bit more through the body and outside of the body. This is the Yin mudra that you can hold, so that you're just doing ring and first fingers. That allows energy, instead of building up, to just sort of like wash through you. You can use those at different times, depending on what you think you need or feel. Yeah. And then when you're coming back down, then you can, close back up. Meow, meow. That's one thing. Breath steady, like silk. And again, tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth. But what's the other thing that I wanted to mention? When you're doing this, oh yeah, clench your butt cheeks together. So when we're doing the circulation up and you're doing the inhalation, so from the coccyx or from the lower dantian, circulation up the back and the spine in a nice band. Think of it like maybe this thick, like surrounding your whole spine, and sort of like a little bit protruding outside of the body. My problem is I always think of it in this like thin line straight up the spine. It's too hard to focus on, to focus energy that finely, that concentratedly. So just think of it as like a nice band of energy buzzing up your spine. And when you're breathing in, you perform the whatever that mudra is called, basically where you know, lock up the perineum. So and then as you're breathing out, you can relax Uranus and let energy just wash down that way. It really ramps things up when you do that. I know it sounds weird, but when you have that contraction of the perineum, all the energy that's just like pooling around there, first of all, it gives a little jolt and it can move up. Where it goes is mostly, it's fairly regular that it's just going to shoot up your spine, but then it kind of matters like that you are paying attention to it with your focus and allowing it to move or directing it to move up the spine, up to the head, and then so that's the last thing I wanted to mention about this. For the next one that we do, we will start with this, and then we will move into gathering and circulating the energies of the heavenly bodies, as I mentioned, and earth and sky and all of that good stuff. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to support me, you can send a donation, the info below, or join my Patreon, which not much happening on. I want to, I know it's a big self-promoter here. Yeah, I don't need to go into too much explanation. I was in the hospital for a while and everything's been kind of crazy, and still focusing on getting a new place and getting settled and all of that. So I'm not too worried about the fact that I haven't put too much out there, because it will turn into its own thing. I'm also working on a podcast, which is like a totally different experience for me, just speaking as opposed to being able to see myself, where I'm sort of like on and I'm like, hey, and I can do my thing. And I'm so used to it because I've been doing it for so long. When you're just speaking, when you're just kind of like staring off into the corner at nothing or whatever, and you're much more in your own thoughts. It's like having a phone call as opposed to a face-to-face conversation. I am not used to it. I am not good at it, but it's getting some things out. And I'm also trying to write a book right now, and that's kind of like pouring out of me. It's going to be a collection of, my spiritual experiences, little portions of my spiritual journey and how I got here, being raised in a cult, breaking out of the cult, all the different things that I did to get onto the path that I'm still on today. Some crazy experiences in between, and how I am a normal person, even though I do abnormal things in the spiritual sense. And also a lot about what I find is wrong with, or at least dangerous about, the New Age movement today, and how it has become this a festering mass of crap. I love so much about what it is. It's supposed to be, taking traditions from everywhere and like integrating them if they work, tossing them out if they don't, and getting Westerners who are mired in this scientific, reductionist, materialistic worldview with absolutely no spirit in the equation, no room for spirit in the equation whatsoever, out of that religious mode of thinking per science, I could say it better, you know what I mean? I mean, science has become the new religion now. People just believe it without applying its actual principles to anything. Um, and getting Westerners to wake up to the fact that consciousness is primary, that spirit is real, that spirit is consciousness, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And defluffing and debunking this nonsensical crap that's out there now, and thinking in terms of frequency and vibration, which is just stupid. It's just so stupid. Like, I know what people are getting at when they say you gotta raise your frequency, man. It's just all about vibrations. But well, which is it, vibration or frequency? Because then sometimes you say vibrational frequency, which makes no sense. And you can't just tell someone to raise your vibration without giving them the steps to do so. What does that even mean? All we're talking about is energy. Just use the word energy. Learn to work with energy. You don't feel a vibration when you're working with this stuff. You might feel it sort of like that if you're working with chi or energy or whatever, but frequency and vibration, like so much nonsensical bullshit goes into this stuff now. And I can't fathom it. Like, mostly where it gets me is when I see somebody post a meme and it's in all caps. There's no punctuation, so they don't know how to use the English language. It looks like they're yelling at you, and they just spout these really technical sounding words and terms. What if I told you that you're actually just a matrix projection, three-dimensional matrix, you know? I'm just like, I would not have a reaction if you told me that. I know what you're getting at, but do better, because you're making a lot of people think that we're all fools, and it drives me insane. I'm very passionate about this stuff, and I just want people to get it right, you know? So that's what the book is about. I'm working on it. I've already written, you know, in a matter of 2 days, like 4,000 words. So I'm getting there, you know. So I love you guys. I will see you for the next one. Hopefully we can get some more people to come and participate, because I want to teach you stuff.